All right. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I see Judy. Hi, Judy. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Mary, Colleen, Jackie, Janet. Love these people. Carol, Cindy, Sally Ann, Petra. All right. This is wonderful. So this is actually a pretty big webinar. We have about 200 people that have registered for this. My anticipation is that we're going to end up probably with about, I'm going to say 40 to 50 people that are going to show up live. So for you people that are coming live, we love you. We're so glad you came. But we're going to have about 50 people watching the recording, and we're going to have another probably 60 to 70 people listening to the podcast, which is kind of cool because they're driving to the gym now. Yay. So it's really kind of fun. But the best thing about you guys that showed up is if you move your mouse, you go to the bottom of the screen, you're going to see the green share button. Go to the left of that and you're going to see the chat box. And I want you to type your name in and where you're from. I love to see that. Now, I know you think I look like Jeff Howard, but I'm not Jeff Howard. Jeff gets the day off because Jeff was subbing for me. And I was supposed to, believe it or not, be in Israel with my family, but my cousins got COVID and we were scared to go because if you get COVID over there, we couldn't get back into the States until this past Sunday when the government changed the regulation. And I guess anybody can come into the United States with COVID or not. So whatever, I made a boo-boo. My family didn't go to Israel. So I'm here. And I'm very happy to be here. And look at all these people: Tammy from Iowa, Sue from Austin, Jackie from Alabama, Sally Ann from Huntsville. We've got Cecile from Florida, Stephanie from Santa Barbara, California, Debbie from New Woodstock, Woodstown, New Jersey. Oh my God, Maryland, Pennsylvania, more California, and even someone in Northern Maine. Love it. Okay, thank you guys for joining us. Please use this chat box. Put in your comments, tell us what you think, ask questions. We're here to help you. I got great people. All right, I'm going to get going. Many athletes and regular exercisers suffer from injuries due to constant high impact workouts without properly cross training. It's no secret that aqua exercise is a great low impact exercise, and it still includes conditioning, strength, and balance. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to address different ways we can incorporate all these different programming into our aquatics programming. Matt Carvalho is one of our presenters. There he is. We love Mac. He's got over 10 years experience in fitness and 18 years of dance. He also is been featured in choreography releases for Pop Pilates, for Water in Motion, High Fitness, many others. He also has led our certification for Water in Motion. He's one of our lead trainers, fabulous trainer. And he also works with our SEAT program, which is Supported Exercise for Ageless Training. So that's Mac. We're so happy to have him here. And you guys will recognize him because he presents it like all the manias. Billy Wartenberg has over 28 years of experience in the fitness industry. So she's very mature, although she acts very immature, and that's why I love her. She was awarded the SCW Fitness Idol winner. That's how Billy became a presenter for us. She competed in 2016, and we've never let her go. She holds personal training, group X certifications. She created our Aqua Bar certification. She's also one of our Water in Motion trainers. She's a lead trainer for Bar Above Tabata Boot Camp. I don't know what she doesn't teach. And what's interesting is she's going to bring us this fitness wellness manager perspective. She works at Trilogy Orlando, which is basically, I'm not quite sure, is it an active aging community?
Would you? Yeah, 55 and older.
And then we've got Rosie Malahan. Rosie is newer to SCW, and we've just like embraced her and dragged her into every single show. And actually, I just went to visit Orlando and I took Rosie's class, and she's absolutely amazing. She has her master's degree in a Master's of Science degree in Human Development. She's going to bring with her a different perspective for us. She's got 15 years experience teaching and counseling on fitness and yoga and leadership and organizational development. She's got many certifications, very heavily into yoga as well, and a fitness nutrition specialist. And she is also part of the Trilogy team and works with Billy. So we got a lot of people. We're going to just dive right in because we got 45 minutes and we're going to go. And remember, you can type in questions or comments. We want to hear from you. So I'm going to start with you, Billy. What do you see are the biggest trends in water fitness right now?
Aqua Fitness, right now, we've got to shift the mindset to see Aqua Fitness is just as vigorous / gentle as our land classes. So just like how we have many land offerings from the gentle to the moderate to the vigorous, our Aqua Fitness people are looking for those variety of offerings in the pool as well. So create programming for your gentle athletes with just maybe some gentle movement, maybe Aqua for arthritis, Aqua for joint mobility, creating programs for your regular moderate fitness, whether you choose water and motion, which I highly recommend, or any type of Aqua Fitness programming, dance, any type of bar, yoga bar as well. And then, of course, for your vigorous, your athletes, pulling in weights in the water, land weights in the water, as well as the Aqua dumbbells, kettlebells. And we were just talking earlier about bringing in a wide variety of toolboxes of tools that we have. So we have a wide variety of toolboxes on our land programming. Why not bring that to the water? There are so many bands out there that can be used in the water, as well as, of course, your normal pool noodles, but bring toys in the water. People love props. People love toys, and they're very, very effective in what you're doing. Also, big trends. Yes.
No, I want you to continue with the trends, but you talked about bringing dumbbells and kettle weights in the pool. Now, typically it's like, ha, 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 we laugh at those people because use the buoyancy of the water, use drag, but I went and I took your class and it had dumbbells in the water. And I saw women using these dumbbells that I don't think they ever thought that they could do it. So I was really impressed.
Yeah, it's been amazing because we all know the main key to longevity is strength training. And Aqua does provide strength, but why not get the dumbbells like what we would use on land, pulling them in the water? And we've seen ladies that started with little 2-pound weights that are now holding 6-pound weights in each hand, and men who are holding 12 pounds in each hand, or just a single 5-pound, and they never thought they would. And their posture is improving, their strength is improving, their balance, everything. It's been super duper awesome. And so, but people tend to shy away from strength training in our land classes. And so this is a great way to get even more added strength into land. And then other members that are beating themselves up on land that are getting sore and hurt, why not encourage them to get in the water and do your strength in the water? It's just fantastic doing strength plus cardio as well, bringing those HIIT classes in the water.
Yeah, and I was going to ask Rosie, how do we get these people to change, to embrace change, to try something new, or be able to, enjoy the variety of programming that's being offered now?
Well, earlier we were talking about a behavioral change model, and some of you might have heard of this in a lot of different areas. It's used in so many different areas, but from this wellness perspective, you have this individual who maybe for the first time in their life has become more aware of a change that needs to happen in their body. Maybe it was blood work they had done, maybe it was a recent meeting with a doctor, maybe it was a family scare, but they've had this aha moment, and now they're entering into this like preparation phase where they have more intent to make a change. They want to get involved. Maybe they're completely deconditioned and they're finally emerging post-COVID, or now that things have opened up a little bit more. So it's our job as a trainer to kind of lead the way and make them really, really comfortable. And so in some ways that might be, if they're only comfortable in land, maybe it's a land-based trainer who teams up with an aqua-based trainer, co-teaches, brings people from land to aqua. In other cases, it's making sure that they truly understand what aqua can do for them in terms of reducing inflammation, the buoyancy protecting the joints, so many benefits. Anonymity, we talked about, aqua, since we only see from here up, the anonymity that comes with aqua is a really big plus for a lot of people, especially if they're very uncomfortable in their body or a little bit worried about how they look. All we're seeing is their smile, on top of the water. So if we can get them and move them from the preparation phase of the behavioral change model, move them into action, and then action repeated over and over because you create a fun experience, it's social, then we move that into maintenance and it becomes a regular behavior for them. It replaces their old behaviors of sitting around, not doing anything. And now they have something to look forward to and people to see. And that maintenance continues. And they may fall off the bandwagon, they may relapse, and that happens to everybody, right? But if they can get back on quicker, then we have them hooked. And Aqua Fitness is one of those social environments that is so fun and so free that getting back on the bandwagon is so much quicker. It's so much easier.
Mm-hmm. So when you were talking about that, Rosie, you talked about preparation.
Mm-hmm. So it originally starts with pre-contemplation, where they don't even think that there's an issue, right? I don't need wellness. I don't need to move. I don't need to do anything. And then all of a sudden they're aware of a problem, and that's the contemplation phase. Again, something has happened in their life and they're aware of it now. But once we can get them to preparation, where they see, okay, I'm going to do something, but where am I going to start? It's up to us. It's the trainers that have to say, oh, here's a great option for you. And it's perfect for everybody.
Yeah, I like that. I think we were also talking, how do we inspire these people to try something? And it was interesting. I was teaching at a club. I was actually teaching at Evanston Athletic Club, and they had a pool in the basement. And they weren't really using, people would do lap swimming, but they didn't have any aqua classes. And I said, I want to teach it. I was a land instructor. And they're like, well, nobody's going to take it. And I was like, all right, if I teach for free, and how many people do I have to get in my class before I'm paid? And I don't know if it was 5 or 10 or something like that. And so what I did is I talked to the salespeople at the club. And I said, if you get a newbie in the club, tell them about the aqua program. And I made friends with the salespeople. And I brought them, you know what you do? You bring them cookies. It's very healthy and nutritious. It's only kale and carrots, right? Wrong. A lot of chocolate, antioxidants. And we would, bless you. And we would and so I got people to come to the class because I partnered. So it helps with that, getting that contemplation into preparation. If they can get out of their car and walk in that door, we better embrace them and make them feel comfortable. And Mac, you teach it. What do you see as some of the trends in the water? Because I think you emphasize that you saw them coming back very quickly after the pandemic.
When I first came back to my YMCA's, the classes that started up back for me was the water. It wasn't my land classes, which I expected, because a lot of my land participants, that's where my crowd was. That's where my popularity was. It wasn't so much in the water. So now coming back post-pandemic for about 2-ish years now, the thing that started to grow the most was my Aqua Fitness classes. And I would tell people through the education that I would get here at the conferences is that you can see results in the water. You can see a lot of benefit by being in the aquatic environment. And a lot of people have been sitting around, and they've gotten more injured when they went back to land classes because they weren't moving for a long period of time. So I invited them and I shared with them, say, hey, why don't you check out this class with me? It's called Water in Motion. It's the new wave of aqua exercise. It's a really fun and invigorating program where you can bounce around and have a total blast, but there's very little impact on the body, because there is no such thing as zero impact fitness. The only thing I can think of is meditation. So unless you're meditating and low and being in supine position, you're like, but for the most
Make sure
part,
you
it is.
clean up, okay?
Okay, it's okay.
I was like, huh? It's like, clean up. It's like, is my apartment messy? That's why I was so confused. But as I was saying, there is no such thing as no impact in the water, because you still are doing impact. The only thing that's no impact is if you're doing any sort of meditation or you're sleeping. So that would be the little bit of the no impact. But if we can reduce the impact in our joints, so if I love to jack, or I love to do jumping lunges and go balls to the wall, if I can do that safely in the water, and for those of you who like to use their Apple Watches, because I know you instructors out there, either you or your clients love to have that Apple Watch and say, oh, I need to burn so many calories in the water. You can do that way more effectively in the water. You can burn twice as many. And I think that's very interesting to see. Plus, what I also found was very interesting, and one of my other good friends and one of my mentors for Water in Motion brought this up, was 30 minutes of moderate to intense activity in the water equivalates to 2 hours on land. And think about it. Not all of us have all the time in the world to be dedicating to the gym in our health and wellness. I wish we did, but for the most part, none of us have 2 hours to spend at the gym. So what am I going to do that's quick and effective and get the most bang for my buck? Am I going to spend 30 minutes in the aquatic environment, or am I going to bust myself doing 2 hours of intense activity? It's the same variables. So
See,
I
now,
would
Mac, I'm going to say this, and that's why we have webinars. We have these webinars because we can agree with people, we can disagree with people. The difference with aquatic exercise is you actually can burn a little less in the water than you do on land. You don't burn more in the water than you do on land. You do have the hydrostatic pressure, you do have the drag of the aquatic environment, but you're moving slower at a slower pace. So it'll be less impact shock and fewer impact shock. You'll get a lot of strength training benefits from that water being 12 times the resistance of air, but you burn a little bit less calories actually in the same time frame. But I think what happens is you're able to participate longer in the pool. Like I have these wonderful participants that can spend a whole hour in my aqua class, whereas they couldn't spend 15 minutes on a treadmill. And that's where they can burn the more calories. So and you know what, I think when you bring up a valid point, there is contradictory research out there. You know why? It is so difficult to research in the water because you can't regulate the water temperature. It's kind of like you go in the pool, we get what we get and we're happy we got it. You know, I can't regulate my depth. It might be here today. It might be here today. It might be down here today. And the temperature varies, and our humidity in the air, which affects our breathing, varies from day to day. So it's twice as difficult to do research on aquatic exercise than it is on land, where you can regulate the temperature and the impact and the depth. Yeah, Billy?
I just wanted to say, we're all in the field, and I think most everybody would agree that it's hard. I agree, Sarah, it's hard to research, but we've seen the most benefits in people's internal health, way more in Aqua Fitness than in land. For instance, way more members reducing blood pressure medications, more members reducing diabetes or getting off diabetes. We've also had members 55 and older, the age group, who have gone from osteopenia to none, or osteoporosis down to osteopenia, or their bone density greatly improving. So calories, yes, I agree. It's like we don't know, but as far as overall health improvements, internal health improvements, we've seen more. And endurance, the whole cardiorespiratory, it's been fantastic.
Do you think, my gut feeling is, why do you think this, why do we think this happens? That you get this, is it, I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's a comfortable environment, and you walk out of your aqua class and you're not in pain. So you want to go back.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, the retention is much higher.
And
And
Rosie,
they're dedicated.
Mac, do you see more repeat clients coming to your classes? Do you think that they have more
I-
consistency?
They have the most consistency, and I even say this at the conferences. I think that the aquatic participants who come, whether to my classes or my sessions at the conferences, they are the most consistent, they're the most dedicated, and they actually, I feel as though they really want to be there. I'm not discrediting anybody else on the team. I'm not discrediting my land classes. Land attendees, they are amazing and awesome, but I have not seen a more dedicated group of people in all my land classes of teaching than I ever have with my Aqua Fitness.
Right.
Sarah, we're seeing more men in the pool too, especially with incorporating strength training and playing some AC/DC and Aerosmith. We've been really seeing a lot more men, which is great because if the men come, usually the women come too. And it becomes the cool factor at your club. So reach out to the men too.
No, I like that. Your different choices in music, you're in bringing, telling someone to use a foam dumbbell or use a noodle that kids use. I mean, I'm fine with that. I can't see my husband ever doing that, but he would grab a dumbbell. He would grab a kettle weight. And I think that that's working. Rosie, what type of programs do you see working at Trilogy you teach such a variety?
I think some of the styles that we're trying to pull in more populations, I think that using a VIT style, variable intensity interval training, is working really well, where you operate at different intensities, not necessarily time periods. I think that's working well. I think that the idea of a swim circuit where you are supersetting certain strength training plans with your clients, with your members, that's working really well. The idea of taking a boot camp to the water, that style, when you have toys, when you have props, and when there's familiar land-based application in the water, coming in and out of the water is also super fun, and it can be very, very inclusive based on however, depends on how your pool is set up and everything. But those types are working really, really well. I also see a huge increase in gentle aqua options. So your aqua Pilates, your aqua yoga, your aqua bar, and really, really focusing on joint mobility, range of motion, extension of some muscles that might be really, really tight. That's just doing wonders for everybody. And they're getting out of the pool and they're standing taller and they're breathing better and they aren't shuffling. And it's really astounding.
It's very rewarding. We're getting a lot of comments, which I really love this. Diana said she loves doing circuit training, especially when there's not enough equipment. So sometimes, like the kids start biting the noodles, or some aqua participants just shoves a couple of dumbbells in her bag to use it or pool at home, and they start disappearing. But Diana did ask a question, she talked about the social aspect for seniors, but Judith asked a question, how do you attract a younger population? Like Mac, how do you attract a younger population to your classes?
So the best thing that I'm going to tell every single one of you who is on this call right now, if you are not on any social media platform, you need to get on it ASAP. Your handle does not need to be fancy. It can be your name and add the word fitness to it. And trust me when I tell you, there is a bunch of accounts I follow who are successful in their craft by just their name and fitness. And I think for the younger demographic, I believe Instagram and TikTok are going to be your places of niches for your socials to grow. Even if you're not familiar with Instagram, or it's like, oh, I'm not a social person, you kind of have to be in this industry. You have to be a little bit of a social butterfly. You've come out of your shell already as an instructor. You've already taken that step. Now to really grow your business, step outside your little bubble in your community and say, hey, let's try Instagram, let's try TikTok. And for lack of better words, Sarah, we have to make Aqua Fitness sexy for the young demographic. We have to make it sexy for the young people to say, oh, this is trendy. Whether we have to use trending audio on TikToks or Instagram Reels, or we have to have some way to make aquatic fitness say, hey, this is cool. It isn't just for the active ager. This isn't for just the old pop, because I was like that. When I first started teaching, I did the Aqua Zumba training. That was my first experience with Aqua. And I was like, I'm never really going to teach this. It's not really my thing. It's mostly for old people. I had those same stigmas. But growing up and doing more research and doing more education, I've learned so much about the aquatic environment that me as a millennial, I really enjoy the aqua environment. It's one of my favorite classes to teach. And I would have, 18-year-old me would have never thought that. So that's my advice of getting the young demographic is invite them on social media. You got to get those invites out there.
I think that's really important. And actually, Diana brought up a point. She said the social aspect for seniors is so important. And I think, Rosie, you talked about that they, they go to class, they build this community, and then it's that maintenance. It's where they find their group. It's when they feel comfortable. This is maybe it's because I'm in Chicago as opposed to Florida, where you kind of get out of the pool and you just wrap a towel around you, you're out of there. But in Chicago, you get out and you've got to go into the locker room and you see these people like half naked, and sometimes it's not that pretty, but you certainly get close. But it's just kind of the way it is. So it's social. I think it's very social in the pool. Our attendees chat with each other. Giving them a little opportunity to say hello to each other is fine, and then getting them to shut up is the hardest thing. But I think, Mac, you bring up a great point. And I'm going to tell you, grandmas out there now, they have to be on Facebook. They have to be on Instagram if they want to connect with their grandchildren. So they're on it. So I agree with you, Mac. I think we've got to wake up and we've got to get more active, because that will bring the younger participants in. I think that it's great. Billy, do you have any advice on bringing younger participants into your pool?
Music plays a big role. And so at first, your youngers might come and it might be a very diverse population there. So try to really play music that speaks, to different types of people. Throw in a disco, throw in a younger, as long as it's clean, right? Throw in some heavy metal, throw in some 80s, 90s. So music plays a big part. And then also, younger people watch older people. They watch. And so I think it's really telling when a younger sees an older person move like an athlete. And as an instructor, really highlight that. Look at this Bob, who's 83. Look at how he's rocking. Bob is upright with his posture. Bob is living his best life. And, younger, someday you're going to be there too. How do you want to move? Do you want to be able to move like an athlete when you are a grandma, or do you want to be confined to a wheelchair? So I just think that if we can use fun ways to integrate when the youngers do come in, but music plays a role, and buddy them up. So you can do some little social games where the youngers can partner up with, some of the moms or.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Water Motion in our program, what they do is what is it, Mac, is it track 5 or track 6? Track 5. There's 10 songs. So it's 10 songs if you want a full hour class, or 8 songs if you want the 45-minute class. Anyway, track 5 is the group track. And there's always some partner going, you don't need to touch people if you're really against it, but a lot of times they do, and it is a lot of fun. And I also think it was interesting. I was reading this article. I read a lot about active aging. Can't say why, hello, I'm 63 years old. but I read a lot about it, and they were talking about the ageism and the insult. And one of the insults is, oh, I want to be like you when I'm your age. And I'm like, you know what? That's not an insult. That is music to my ears. You know, I I want to keep active, and I love when people say that. So, and it's interesting. Sue just said she loves to make her own playlist customized to her group, and I think that we need to do that. And what's fascinating is I teach actually a fluid yoga. I'm not teaching it regularly, but I do a workshop on it at the conference because I was always integrating yoga movements into the flexibility at the end of the workout. And my son, Max, how old's Max? 25 years old. At this time, I think he was like 23. He made me this really cool mix of all this techno. I don't even know who they were, but some of the people, like the younger ones, were like, oh, this is la la. I saw them at Coachella, la la la. And I was like, yeah, I'm really cool. But get your kids to make these mixes for you if you need it. And I think you're right. I think I think it does bring people in. What type of different training styles? So it might be like, what different teaching techniques or training styles do you guys think you can integrate? Don't all jump at once. Rosie.
All right. One more thing though, that someone had commented, I don't know if it was Diana or Beth, one of you commented about themes. And I think that's a really good point too, is whether it's music, if we're trying to bring in a younger crowd, also themed classes. When someone has something like, land-based classes, there's always like a glow something, glow yoga, glow circuit, right? So when you have theme classes and you can dress up and be silly and have props, it always goes really, really well because it breaks down barriers really fast. So I think that's another way, is make it an event, make it like the place to be, make the pool the place to be, and you'll bring in some other populations that you may not normally bring in.
Well, I think, sorry, go ahead.
No, to say, and you as the instructor have to go all in. You have to go all in, whether it's your playlist, your format, everything, what you're wearing, what's around you, you go all in and they'll go all in.
And the best thing to do, it's really easy because it's inexpensive. It's not about, does it fit? Does it fit? It's not close. If you just get a hat, get them to make certain hat days. Oh, that works really well. Or what did they do? They decorated shower caps.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Those are really, really fun to do. That's a great idea. And what other training styles, Rosie, would you do? Like we had talked about, like step in the pool, or what other different modalities are there?
I think, remember that we can change the intensity in the pool based on direction, movement, repetition, timing. So we can always go back to our hit and our VIT. That's very, very easy, to put in. But then we can also get really, really creative. I think Jeff Howard actually presented a 30-second modality where it was 9 different exercises. You do each one for 30 seconds, and every time you run through it, you drop one off, right? 1 through 9, 2 through 9, 3 through 9. So you can be really creative in the pool in that you can pick 3 different movements. You can pick 9 different movements. And because you can constantly change direction, change intensity, change your prop, every time you do it, it's a different experience. So
that's a great idea.
Not to be afraid to keep it simple, because from being both land and aqua, that when somebody masters something, they feel more confident and they're super excited about it, and they're going to come back because they felt accomplished in the class. So if you can bring that to them and they're not like, oh my goodness, what am I supposed, you don't want them confused, you want them confident.
Right. Billy, you talked a little bit about making sure that the directors and the managers kind of knew what you were doing and supported Aqua. Could you share a little of that?
Yes. So have a sit down with your club manager or your department head and really talk to them about find out ways how you can get them to buy into the Aqua program, how this is a moneymaker because these members are the most consistent in your club. They're the ones who are always going to keep income coming into your club. So reach out to them and see if they would consider having land instructors also cross train to teach Aqua Fitness classes and vice versa, because this is a great way that your land people can get a diversity of their workout so they're not just doing the same, because we all know the benefits of adding water into our programming. So as much as you can, get them on board. And then also from a club standpoint, a lot of the members have insurance programs, and their insurance providers help pay their club memberships, which that brings a whole big financial piece into your club programming. So I think once they see the dollar signs, the money speaks, and they'll see, oh, we can bring in more money to the club to help with more equipment and, of course, more class offerings and more diversity. So really put together some sort of proposal to your club manager of all of the benefits, and find out if your club has, of course, Silver Sneakers, but Silver Sneakers is 65 and older, and then Prime is the under 65 program that's tied into Silver Sneakers. But what we're finding is that the bigger one is through United Healthcare, and United Healthcare is also part of their Medicare program, and that is for over 65. But United Healthcare also has an under 65, and that's the one past commercial. So a lot of people out there have United Healthcare. It's one of the largest insurance companies in the country, and so it's just constant profit, constant revenue. And then another one is Silver and Fit and Active and Fit through American Specialty Health. Silver and Fit is your over 65, Active and Fit is your under. And a lot of your members that have USAA, those who have been in the military, they have that USAA benefit, which helps to pay their gym memberships. And so these are the people that are most likely in your pool that are going to bring in more money. And you could just see as the pool is a great revenue stream. So help your director understand that.
And a lot of us as instructors, I'm like going, oh my gosh, well, is it my responsibility to do it? No, it's just if you bring it up to the general managers and the owners and the CEOs or the directors, they will know. Sometimes even our Group X directors don't, they're focusing on scheduling and writing course descriptions and making sure there's a sub. But those owners and those directors know that, and that money does speak. So thank you for bringing that up, Billy. And also, Mac, you had talked a little bit about, I think before we turned the camera on, about making sure that we had a variety of students coming, like you talked a little bit about the ages coming into the class, but what type of techniques would you use to grow the attendance besides the social media? What other things might you be able to do to bring in more people into your class?
Okay, awesome. So even if you're not a social media butterfly or just a social butterfly, I think simple word of mouth is going to be a game changer for your classes as well. So I know we get our active agers in the pool. I know most of them have grandchildren, and a lot of them visit from colleges, out of state, or even they might be taking care of them when they are at home. So invite them to your classes and say, hey, would you want to take this class with me? And even if they're not a member, talk to the front desk, your club managers, your owners, and say like, hey, I have a guest, I want to come into your class. Like, oh, bring someone new to your classes. And that way that they can experience the magic of Aqua Fitness, whether it's word of mouth, or even if you go around your local community, you have flyers, you have business cards that you can leave out on the counters and say, hey, I teach this Aqua Fitness program. Come check it out at this location, this time. If you want more information, you can visit my website, my social handles. So even if they're not on social media, they have some way to get a hold of you.
I like that. I think that's a great idea. I'm going to take the screen just for a second. I'm going to show you the Water in Motion program. It's not for everybody. Not everybody loves to work with getting, pre-choreography, getting the choreography and the music and the cueing. I'm a big fan of that because I think it's easier for me to remember. What did you say, Mac? How did you describe it?
The 3x3. That's how I describe it in my training. So it's essentially 3 movements that you have to remember, and you have to do it 3 times. That's it. So if you do round 1, you got those 3 moves. Okay, you do it twice more. It is the simplest and easiest program that you
because
guys
that's
could
the way
ever do.
music works. It repeats the verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, bridge. Yeah. Okay, that's great. That's great. So I'm going to show you something here because if you guys, we do this open source on Water in Motion. You do not need to be a client to do this. So we leave this out for you. If you go, you can see it up here. It's the waterinmotion.com site. And then if you go into Water in Motion and you click on the marketing tab, you can go in, you can see great news, little articles that you can put, you can block and paste and copy them, go for it. They're all yours. You can go in and see some of the tidal waves, some of the wonderful articles that we have in here. And it's great for your members. It's great for your instructors, and it's totally open source. You can check it out anytime. Look at our marketing kits. I'd really like you to look at the marketing kits because we do things seasonally. So you can see spring, summer, it's so cute. Like this was for the Olympics. It's a kit right here, and it's got a little poster that's an 8.5 by 11. You can type in what the event is, the day, the time, the location. You can see, it's like a free class. You can type it in and then you print it out. It's also got, so that this is a sample you can see. But what Mac was talking about is you could do a fun water event, and these you can type in the days, the times, the location, the address, and then you can bring in a guest. You want to get your Aqua people to bring in a guest. Here's just a class pass. And what I like about these is this one is Go for the Gold. It's for the Olympics that we did it. It's got sign-in sheets with a little waiver of liability. It's got, instructor of the month, member of the month, little class punch cards if you need that for your facility. But it's got so many different ones. I mean, they're adorable. Like, Halloween, like here's one for Halloween. Now these are all branded Water in Motion. So you kind of can't use the brand here because it's licensed. You need to license the program, but just copy it. Think about doing that. We need, we're all in this together. We need to grow our programs. Exercise is medicine. And we have this fabulous pill to give them that helps with their diabetes, that helps with their inflammation, their osteoporosis, their heart disease, and it's called fitness. And it doesn't have to be painful. It can be comfortable. And so what I'm also going to show you guys, this is kind of fun. We have a wonderful conference coming up. Let me see if I can find it here. It is our Aqua Exercise Summit. You're going to see Mac and Billy and Rosie there, and it's Saturday, June 25th, but it's completely being recorded as well. So take a look at our video here. So it's really nice. We've got these great conventions, and we focus on the water, and you can see all the different classes that people can take. It's just one day, so you could either just go to 6 classes in one day or get all the recordings, and it's a really kind of a nice little price here. We also have our Water in Motion program, and this will give you a little information. So it's kind of, we love our water. All of us love our water. So, and the recorded version, somebody just asked Randy, to go to the conference, it's $99. If you want the recording of all 30 sessions, it's $30. So it's an extra $30. So it's $129. And that's pretty cool because you get 15 hours of continuing education credits from ACE, AFA, AEA, NASM, ACSM, blah, 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 all the organizations. All right, I gotta call it because my kids want to eat dinner. Rosie, thank you so much for joining us. Billy, thank you for joining us. Mac, thank you so much for joining us. And I love the hair, okay? Loving the hair, new hairstyle.
One more thing before we leave, Sarah. If
Sure.
you guys are club managers and you're wanting your land-based people to cross-train into the Aqua Fitness program, invite them to Aqua X Summit. Tell them that you get continuing education. Even if you have to bribe and say, we'll pay you for your time at the conference, getting your land-based people to get their education through a different formality will definitely grow them as an instructor and an individual. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Very cool. All right, guys, take care. And Beth, thank you for herding us cats. We appreciate it. All right, everybody have a good night.
Good night.